Hello again, and this time greetings from Rome. If you've been wondering why three different locations in the past three videos, the first one was for work. London, though it's incredible to be in London, of course. A lot of work with our students, with our partners and our providers, and then I also kept up with meetings going on back home. But then my daughter's studying abroad in Rome, and over her fall break we went to Amsterdam, did a video there, and now from Rome. Wanted to take a short minute to do a little bit of a video, and for that we're going to go explore. We're in Piazza Navona. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. But want to talk a little bit about prices and competition. First, I'm going to clip the view, and we're going to take a stroll through the piazza and beyond.
Rome is really a fantastic spot, not just, of course, because of how beautiful it is and all of the cool things to do. It's a really good spot to think about competition and the economic analysis of competition, and in particular, what economists call monopolistic competition. So a monopolistically competitive market is one where there are many small sellers. It's easy, reasonably easy, for firms to enter and exit the market. There's no specific massive cost barriers or government barriers. And products are slightly differentiated, so products aren't identical. Because products aren't identical, because they're differentiated, firms actually have some power for pricing, which is in contrast to what economists would call perfect competition, where there are many sellers, easy entry and exit into a market, but everybody's selling identical products, the same thing. When you have perfect competition, really prices should stay the same because everybody's selling the same thing. People can get into and out of the market. There are many sellers. Firms don't have pricing control there. But in a monopolistically competitive market, firms do have pricing power. So the market I want to think about here is the market for restaurants in Rome, especially in touristy areas. So what can cause price differences across these? Well, there are really a lot of dimensions, but the key question is, how is the product of eating at a restaurant in Rome, how could it differ across restaurants? Well, in terms of the dimensions, of course, there can be quality differences. That could actually be tough for tourists to figure out, right? I mean, when you're walking through, just looking at a place, most people, and I would consider myself in this category, I wouldn't know why one restaurant might be better than another restaurant, just simply looking at them. Now, there are some things you can do that do take some time and effort, right? You could start to look up reviews. You could go to TripAdvisor. You could go to Google and look at review scores. So there are certainly some ways to look at food quality differences, but that's one way, even though it's not going to be a perfect way to do this. There's certainly, there could be service differences on top of food quality differences. But a very key way that restaurants differentiate themselves and therefore are able to charge different prices for sometimes similar food products, even if the total product, as you'd argue, might not be the same, is by their location. So if you're looking at some of these places as we're strolling through Rome in this piazza, all of them have slightly different views. Right? Some of them are next to music being played. Some of them are next to artists who are painting. Some are right next to a beautiful monument. Others are a little bit further away. And that certainly could impact the prices that are charged. Right? The ones that are more convenient, or the ones that have a more beautiful view, or the ones that are next to the beautiful music, they're selling a different product.
than the ones that are a little bit further away, or the ones that people can't find or tougher to get into. That different product would allow different pricing. Another category where you could see competition, where you see a lot of competition in Rome, is with the local souvenir shops, right? What's the difference between one souvenir shop and another? In my time there, when we popped into several looking for little things to potentially bring home, they all sell slightly different things, but often a whole lot of the products are the same across the shops. So why are the prices different here, or why could the prices be different? Largely the prices could be different because of where these shops are located, right? Once again, we talk about competition. There's many small sellers. It's pretty easy to get into and out of the market. Product is really, the end product you're buying is the same, but where you are, right? If you think about your convenience as a product, right? Being able to pop into a souvenir shop that's right next to the main piazza is going to be easier, especially in your valuable vacation time, and that's worth something. It's going to be easier than hunting down a shop that might be a couple blocks away somewhere else. So in that respect, you could see also different pricing for what you would think of as identical end products here. So you could literally, for souvenir shops, you could see the same sweatshirt with different prices. For restaurants, you could see the exact same bottle of wine have a different price at one restaurant to another, or the same half liter of wine. The exact same wine could be priced differently. Why? Well, the wine itself as a product is the same, but the restaurant itself, with all of the other attributes that it offers, it's a little bit different. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm in Rome. My daughter's has a semester abroad, and now that I'm in a dean position, I can actually take a few days off during the semester. It's a very different feeling than when I was a professor. So, keeping up with emails and stuff, but taking a few days off this week to spend some time, and that's been pretty awesome. So in Rome, pretty magical place if you haven't been here. But really some interesting little lessons. I hope you enjoyed the little stroll that I just took. So a key thing, for competition, the restaurant right behind me is where we ended, the Old Bear. Ate dinner there last night. Absolutely amazing, and also a whole lot cheaper. It ended up being, it was 10 euros for a half liter of wine. So half liter is basically 3 glasses, pretty close to it, versus 12 euros for a glass of wine we had before in the piazza, right next to the statues in the art. And it's the price differences there are pretty stunning. The one tip for restaurants that I picked up and adapted from Tyler Cohen in his either his book or his ethnic dining guide, and I'll put a link to that into the description for his online resource, was if you are new in a city and you really don't know anything, you would be better off trying to find a restaurant on a side street than a restaurant in a main busy area. The restaurant in the main busy area is going to have more tourist foot traffic, but they're also going to have to pay significantly more in costs, because they have to pay more costs. Consumers can expect to pay more costs, so you can often get better food at a cheaper price by going to a side street. Last night, was absolutely amazing in this little kind of hole-in-the-wall place. That's, as you saw, it was a leisurely 6-minute stroll from the piazza, from one end of it over here. Anyways, next video, you'll see I'll be back in the States. Actually, I'll be back in the States by the time you see this. But hope you enjoyed this video, and look forward to seeing see you inside on the next one.